Peace, family. Vicki Dillard here with African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so pleased that you've joined us today. Be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast with you. It makes it more likely that other people will know that we're here, and you strengthen our collective Black voice by doing that. Thank you so much. Family, certainly you all know about the revolutions and uprisings that are happening throughout the diaspora, specifically the Shahil area, of course, some areas uh, um, in other parts of, for example, West Africa and so forth, right? Well, beloved, one such place where we have seen what they call a coup, but it's really an uprising, a revolution, is the new leadership takeover in Niger. Yes? Well, beloved, they have already demanded that Macron and his people, his troops, their presence leave. They've demanded France to leave to get out of Niger. They have been obstinate and refusing to leave. Of course, we've covered here how even they've cut utility services, water, electricity, so forth, to the embassy. They're calling themselves doubling down. Now, many of us believe that this is a delay tactic, that Macron is doing pressers and still stating that he only recognizes Mohamed Bazoum as the legitimate president and he will only negotiate with him, right? So many now believe that this is actually a delay tactic for Macron, for France to hide behind ECOWAS, the West African block of nations, regional block of nations that initially and early on threatened military force against them. There was supposed to be some negotiations. They were supposed to back down, but many believe it's a delay tactic. And I'll tell you, I'll circle back to that in a minute, why we believe that is. Now, according to this report here, France's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that a French official has been arrested in a military run Niger and called for the junta to immediately release him. Military officers in Niger deposed elected President Mohamed Bazoum, which we know, of course, in July, and last month ordered French officials to leave the country, an order that France has refused to heed, saying that Niger's junta is not the country's legitimate authority. Now, France, what do you have to say about Gabon and some of the other countries that you know full well were taken over through coups? Talk black to me, somebody. But that's another story. The ministry said on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, that Stephanie Julien, counselor for the French citizens abroad, a non-diplomatic elected post, was arrested Friday and called for his, quote, immediate release. Now, here's what's interesting. How in the world, France, how in the world, Macron, are you all going to call for the immediate release of this official, a non-diplomatic elected post, Stephanie Julian's release? Who are you talking to? You can't be talking to the current government leaders because you said you don't recognize them. Let me hit the gavel on that. For those of you that don't know, the Vicki Show is a home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. I've been using this gavel on multiple platforms for many, many years. So this is the thing. How are you going to say they're illegitimate? They're an illegitimate authority. You're not going to negotiate with them. You're not going to deal with them when it comes down to Bazoum. Well, pretend like they don't exist concerning this French elected official. And based on some other reports I've been reading, it also appears that they're going to be targeting some of the mineral French companies that are operating, at least 30 of them, I think, there in Niger. They're going to be targeting some of them, which I think is an excellent strategy. The other thing that's really interesting that I told you I was going to circle back to was the fact that many believe that this is a stalling tactic, a delay tactic by Macron and France to keep doubling down on refusing to remove their French ambassador. Many of us believe that this is a delay tactic. What's happened? Well, as of the time I'm broadcasting, it's been a day or so since this news came out, as far as I know. That is, Niger has terminated its accord with their brother, Benin, a country that's within proximity to them. They had a previous accord with them, a military accord with them. They've shut that down. They have denounced it because, according to Niger, Benin, among others, have allowed certain military equipment to be used in their land for a possible military strike against them. Many believe that this is at the behest of ECOWAS. And this is what we're saying, is that France is going to try to hide behind ECOWAS, this black bloc, ECOWAS standing for the economic, West African states. They're going to try to stand behind their own brothers and sisters to justify military action against Niger. All of this, if France did not extraordinarily benefit disproportionately Niger, why in the world would they be still there? We stand with our brothers and sisters in Niger and France. If you had any sense, you would get out. It is not your land. They're a sovereign country. You are not the colonizer. You are no longer the enslavers. Don't mess around and find out, France. Don't mess around and find out. You cannot claim to be about peace when all of your actions are totally aggressive. I have been doing broadcasts on the fact that credible evidence has come forward that France, among others, are responsible for the creation of such so-called black terrorist organizations like Boko Haram, so that they can claim they're coming to these African nations to help them fight terrorism, to justify being on their lands so that they can continue to exploit them under the guise of fighting terrorism. This is another reason I believe that they're doubling and tripling down. That, along with this pipe that the United States and Chevron, I've been reporting on this for a long time, has been investing in to the tunes of tens of millions upon tens of millions of dollars. And it is said in some reports that they've expedited that initiative, that pipeline initiative, after America was credibly accused of sabotaging Russia's Nord Stream pipelines 1 and 2, which was giving cheap energy to Europe. Now that that source has basically been cut off from Europe, one of their incentives of staying on the African continent is that there is a pipe that goes up through Nigeria and Niger, among other African countries, into Europe. And others are saying that our brothers and sisters on the continent are saying, why in the world would we allow this pipe to go through our country when we're getting absolutely no real and substantive benefit from this? So there are multiple reasons, it appears, that France is doubling and tripling down on their presence there. But baby, you got to go. For there is a divine scripture that says to resist the devil and he will flee. Somebody talk black to me. My name is Vicki Dillard. I'm a spiritual teacher. You don't want to miss my life-changing courses at VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKI Planet, PLANET.com. I can't wait to see you again.